Okay, I'm live. I don't know if we're hearing sound. I thought I'd just restart the whole thing. Sorry, but it's okay. We're going to work out the bugs. I'm going to do this every Friday. It'll get easier. Who knows how the stars are aligned? If you're out there, just nod if you can hear me. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I have sound. My input I can see is going do 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 do, and the same camera that is recording me is making little motions that I have sound. I'll turn that up. Okay. Well, yeah, no, it isn't you, Rich, if you're getting this, if you're seeing this. Yeah. Well, I thought I did a pretty good job cleaning up the shelf, but now I'm looking back here at this mess, and that's not good. Yeah, it was so easy yesterday. Well, I'll just let it go for a little bit. Let's see how we go. I'll just read my book here. Failure. Failing is a part of doing art. If you're not failing once in a while, you are not trying very hard. For some of us, missing the mark we are reaching for can be immobilizing and a real detriment to doing art. I cannot say that I enjoy failing at all myself. I'm always somewhat dumbstruck, like in a state of disbelief. Like I am in a state of disbelief about how many things went wrong this morning. The camera. I go to my home office, in my house there that way, and plug it in. I mean, I've got the little blue things there. Wasn't No, I'm not doing it. It wasn't meant to be bad. I got a viewer. Yes, one. This inability to deal with failure, like I'm failing today, is more prevalent when you're young. Yeah, I'm not dealing with it that well. I'm old too. Now I tend to take it more in stride. We're talking about failure with painting. I take that more in stride. I failed recently. Yeah, it's not fun. Especially, oh yeah, let's read the book. This is because I failed so many times over the years. I'm more aware that it's just a part of living and making art that's unavoidable. Accepting failure as inevitable. Oh, that's another heading. I got one viewer. Hey, I'm so sorry. I know. Yeah, I'm trying. The old guy. You know what I like is I like my sped up 15-minute videos. I like the live videos in the studio too because I don't do any editing. There I am painting along and mumbling under my breath, mumbling under my breath occasionally. Yeah, two viewers. Hey, if you guys can hear some sound, you don't have to engage with me or nothing, but say so in the chat. Um, if you can't hear sound, then I will just shut the whole thing down. Yay! Sorry for the trouble, Rich. I appreciate your patience. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was effortless. No, it wasn't effortless last week, but you know. Okay, I got, oh, hey, this is an AMA and it's working now. So I'm going to pull up in case somebody doesn't have a question. I got some questions that my assistant prepared for me. Oh, where are you? There we go. I'll just have those up. Just have those up. Oh, let me tell you, this computer out here, it's a nice little computer. Um, the camera's not working, this isn't working, and I know I don't use it much. So update. Oh, it'll take 3 minutes, it says. Yeah, I knew, should have known not to update. Anyway, I restart and update, and it's hung up at 9% for 10, 15 minutes. I'm thinking, I actually did hit the power button. Thank God it didn't work. Yeah. Ew, God. Yeah, no, computer issues. That's no fun. It's no fun. And then I took the webcam into my office, the home office, which is not set up for a live, and the webcam's not working. So all the stars were, yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, we got it now. We got questions. We got questions. Hmm. Well, can I explain my process from concept to finished painting? Yeah, why not? Let's do that. And we can interrupt if anybody has any actual other questions. A thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know this is not, it's good content. At least you can see what I look like, right? That's cool. Don't you think that's cool? You can kind of tell what I look like on the channel. But let's answer the question. So my concept. Okay, let's just say I'm not working with digitally whatever reference or a master thing that I've modified, or let's say for most of my painting career, I have been, I have a really good camera, and me and my wife would go out and I see a composition that I think could work in nature. That's where the concept starts. So after that, I'd like to take a picture. In the old days, guys are sitting there sketching or whatever they were doing, or doing little tiny, some of those little paint boxes they used to have. You just do a little tiny paint box. Maybe you go out in the field with some little wet paints in there, or whatever. Or you just remember, as humans, we used to be able to do that a heck of a lot better. Anyway, I take my photo, and then 9 times out of 10, you look at it in the computer, and go, okay, well, I don't really know what was so awesome about that, but most of the time I can tell. Yes, it's usually some trees with some sort of arrangement that I think is potentially pleasing. 9 times out of 10, that on its own wouldn't be any kind of painting because the colors won't be that great. Sorry for the noise. I tried to. That's they're building up there. Oh yeah, from the big landslides we had. Well, I didn't have a big landslide. This little building we're in shifted a little bit, but my neighbor, the hill started coming down. It rained for like 20 hours straight. So they're working on their property up there. Don't you think it was funny that I'm reading, from about failure after failing so poorly on my live this morning? But this, so I'll leave it. I'll leave this up. The other one's going with no sound. Come on, no one's got any patience for that. Anyway, talking about the process. Okay, so I've learned to take a bunch of photos. Let's say I take 1,000 photos. Okay, maybe, let's make it 100. Maybe two or three would be something you can use to make a painting, right? So I wish I could give myself a like. I like this. No, I don't. Anyway, um, get them in the computer. Some. There was that trip I took to France back in 2000. Oh, I don't know, 19. It wasn't a trip to France. It was a trip to England. We just had a little, excursion into Fontainebleau. Amazing, and we walked and walked and walked to get to some forests there. And the best spot was, like, you wouldn't have known it, but right behind me is like a shop and a street, and there's just this little walkway through this little bit of woods that was a park there. I got so many awesome reference photos from that. I've made a zillion paintings from it. So you can have a good click. And those, of course, I modified, which is what I'll talk about next. We're going to take that image into the Photoshop, and we're going to start applying imagination to it, building on what's good there. And then I've always been really into, manipulating things because I have a vision, and the vision isn't like a vision that's, I don't have a vision of a painting and then go out and look for a reference for it. I have some reference that sparks an idea, and from there I start developing my vision. And 9 times out of 10, if the foreground is stationary or stagnant, I'll install a path or a road or a river or a stream, or Just look at the channel. You can see that. Um, anyway, and then we mess with the contrast. What's wonderful now is like you can just circle things in Photoshop and use the AI to just change it. And then I really like involving random chance in what I'm doing as well. Like not so much random chances. I just embrace the fact that things have come up and I go, oh, that's cool. I'm going to go with that. And so I kind of like that about the Photoshop AI. So say you have some weird branches or something, you just circle that area. Now you can either type in branches or sky. Sometimes sky is what you want if you just want it to be gone. Well, 9 times out of 10, you can just leave it and it'll generate three options for you. And like a lot of times, one of those is usable or a point. Now, in the old days, I would maybe for a long time we've had the content aware tool, which would kind of like before that we had the rubber stamp tool. You could just get rid of a car or get rid of this or get rid of that. Anyway, these days it's so much better. You just circle things, and then so I keep moving that image to just make it as awesome as I can, as inspiring as I can. That's a really big part of my process. And that's a big advantage I have over the masters. Although the masters would do similar things in that they would, go to galleries and then take in the work of previous painters. And like I was saying too, humans in the past they had a lot better memories. They had a better visual memory. We don't have that great a visual memory because we have, this thing, right? We could just take pictures, just like we don't have to remember math or we don't have to remember how to spell. Anyway, get that digital image looking really cool. And like I've wrote about this a lot, but it's in the book, and it's going to be a whole chapters in the new book about this stuff because I think it's really essential. You want to get yourself primed, to have something really awesome as far as your reference goes. Then you're going to feel like you can make something cool. You go, oh, I can't wait to paint that. Whereas if just say you're taking a boring photo and you think, oh, I'm going to take this boring green and silver photo, and then on my palette here, I'm going to make it miraculously beautiful, just by injecting color. Oh, just like this orange, yeah. Yeah, you get some Frankenstein stuff there. It's not so good. It's actually great to have a great reference photo, have it just maxed out with color, and so when you get in the studio, you start painting, and that's the next part of the process. So the board prep, right? We got any boards? I don't see any boards here. We got paintings though. Let's just pull one up. Well, this one's got texture on it. It's a nice painting. That's a study after Charles Appel. He don't get much credit. He's not even in the book on American tonalism. That's lovely. Speaking of, I am going to have an online show. Three viewers and 3 likes. That means I'm clicking with the public. Anyway, this board's been textured, so that could be a part of my process. You see that there? Videos on the channel. Just put the word texture into the search, and you'll get a extensive video that shows you exactly how I get that process. And what's cool is like so I came up with this process because if you're just randomly texturing, you could have a tree going like this, but your texture is going like that. Don't look right, and it does. When people see this sort of thing in my studio, they believe that's all the paint, but really it's the texture underneath, and that's done with, in this case, black gesso, and then I do oil paint. I got several layers. And check out the check out that video and should buy the book. Just buy the book. In fact, that was the hardest section in that old book. I just broke it all down in the 2 pages there, really clear. Yeah. So, but these days I actually prefer smooth. So I've got my boards prepped or ready to go. I use house paint with a roller, and I like things smooth. So that's a big part of my process. I come in the studio in the morning, and a lot of times I've got the one that's I've done reference for recently. It's in my mind, maybe, or hey, Hansel, how are you? Good to see you. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm really sorry. Um, but a lot of times I might think maybe I'm driving into the studio. I'm thinking, 4x6. I think I'll do a 4x6. And then I go get a 4x6 board. Hopefully I have one prepped. And then I find some reference that I've got. And then pretty much off to the races. I pop the board on my easel. The dogs are coming. Mm-hmm. You guys want the dogs? Did Daddy leave the gate open? Sorry. That's all right. Yeah, I'm live. All right. Let's come here. Yeah. Come here. Oh. That's Alfie. Come here, Jerry. Ah. That's Jerry. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to close the door if you're in here, guys. Go on, Jerry. Go. All right. Sorry for the interruption. I left the gate open. Hello, Alfie. He's a good boy. Okay, so we got our board. Needless to say, I've talked about this in my latest book too, and probably the last one. I lost the viewer. Oh no. You want to have lots of boards prepped and ready, so when you're ready to work, you've got something to do, something to work on. Yeah. Yeah, then in my setup, I've got the video camera there, which is these days it's a nice Canon camera, which is great because it allows me to take a high quality photo after the painting's done. That was a real problem for the last couple of years. Yeah. All right, Alfie. Good boy. Good boy, Jerry. Then we start painting. Okay, so the board is usually prepped, come on, the channel, deep earth is the color I've really been favoring. And the reason I like that is it's reddish, but it's held back a little bit. It's not too strident. Now I've worked on strident reds a lot, and that can work great. It depends, but these days I want a little more modified kind of feeling. Yeah. So first thing, rub that board down with the oil. And that just means I can do some erasing. People in the members area hear this all the time because the camera is recording all of this. But hey, I'm answering the question about my process, inspiration process. We may as well talk about it until I get another question here, and it'll be there on the channel for people interested. Then we start painting. Now, we do the underpainting, and a lot of times you'll hear me just call that a drawing. Yeah. Because my mentation is as a drawer, but I tell you, I'm working on some very advanced stuff now. Are you moving my mouse with your nose? Advanced as far as really, pretty intense subject matter, scenes that are real coastal scenes, and anyway, big rocks. Okay, now we've talked. I'm going to go off in a detour about painting rocks, but if you're a painter, they're tough. They can be very tough. Yeah. Anyway, I try to work things out with a drawing sort of mentation. In that, yes, but I go with a math sort of thing. So I don't want to get all into delineating things with lots of lines. It's all going to get covered up anyway. But oh, Rich, very good question. I've done the research. Plastic is plastic, brother. Right? I mean, what's the difference between plastic that come out of a gesso can or plastic that came out of a house paint can? It's all plastic. It's all a petroleum product. Yeah. So no, house paint's going to be fine. Absolutely no problem. And you consider too, it's not. It's actually designed. I got some on my house. Painted my house last year. That's dealing with sun and rain and all kinds of elements hitting it, and that lasts for 10x years. I've got a layer of paint that's between the oil paint and the board, and its whole job is just to keep the oil paint from going into the board. So I can't say I've done extensive research, but I'm all about the house paint now because I see zero difference. In fact, when I see them make it at the paint store, it's just a big can of plastic, right? And then they just squirt in some other plastic colors or pigments or whatever, and there you go. So yeah, no, I'm totally into it. In fact, you can get gessos that are colored. I know Matisse, they actually have a reddish gesso, but ultimately, what are they going to do? They're going to make sure that the plastic is somehow more plasticky and longer lasting than some other plastic. I don't think so. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, house paint's been my ideal solution because the transparent gesso, that's not much different than the goop that's in that can when they start adding the house paint to it. And that I have researched because I've made my own, and a lot of that's PVA. PVA is glue. Oh, I'm down to one viewer. Oh, I know I'm boring you, but that's okay. That's one reason why, lives is not. I'm just going to be here, And if anyone does have questions, I do think it's good to bring up the house paint. I had a question on the channel about the house paint, and I think it's maybe because I'm the kind of person that you could tell me something, and I go, yeah, okay, but I don't necessarily believe you. I question everything, and is there is the plastic in a can of gesso any different than the plastic in a can of house paint? I don't think so. Anyway, enough of that. We are talking about the painting process. Getting back to that, so it's all about the underpainting, and the underpainting shouldn't take you a long time. It's all going to get covered up, but it's important. It's a great place to work things out, get those shapes in the right spot, and once you've got it kind of, in fact, increasingly, I've noticed that I leave my underpaintings looser and looser because a lot of the actual working out of certain features of the landscape are better handled with the paint, right? That's what I think. Because with the paint, and so you're getting yourself out of this drafting sort of mentation. Hey, I'm sorry, Elaine. No, it's not your fault. It's my fault because I had so many technical issues. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm very sorry. And then someone sent me um, a comment, and I think that was you, Elaine. If you ordered a book, every book that goes out is signed. Every book that goes out signed. Look in the very back cover, and you'll see that I signed it, and it's numbered too. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Elaine. And great that I could find, this 9 in the morning. So I woke up, 7:30, had my coffee. And then about, I should have been out here at 8:30. I came out at quarter to 2 thinking, oh, I'll just turn it on, start the camera. Yeah. Anyway. Um, yeah, so enough about underpainting. Get that underpainting done, and then sometimes I'll let the underpainting dry. It depends on how things are going that day. Really, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, dear. Wow. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm usually in bed by 10:30. So we won't. I don't know how long this has been going on. 23 minutes. We'll go another 20 minutes, half hour. Elaine, do you have any painting questions? Because if you do, you got the man here. I've just been burbling on about my process, which is fine. That'll give people something that to look at if they tune into this live. And the channel. I started off just by sharing what I want do. That's always been my motivation. And then I think back when I started out, you only had to have 500 subs to get advertising revenue, which is pretty exciting. When you get that, you don't get a check. You can tell I'm old, but it's great to get some income from doing something you love. It always is. Hey, so that was really a blessing. And then through the COVID era, I was getting up to some decent income on the channel. I mean, like nearly 200 to 250 New Zealand dollars, which is not like money in the rest of the world. It's very puny in comparison, but whatever. That was good, and it's down now. But getting to my points, like I just like sharing what I do, and I like helping people, and I like to get my art out there. And like, not everyone has the ability to turn on the camera and paint in front of the camera and talk and do all that stuff. And then I've been blessed that I can do that, and so I do. Yeah. And tourist traffic. Oh yeah, the tourism. Yeah, no, it's still not back. Okay, that's Hansa yellow in the book, and it's called acrylide yellow. And honestly, Elaine, oh, maybe I've got some here. Well, I don't want to get off the mark, but if you get cadmium yellow hue, say, okay, here's a good brand. This could work. That's Georgian. Okay. If you got their cad yellow hue, you'd be having that same tone as the Hansa yellow. It's called what is it? Oh, hold on, Alfie, Alfie. It might be worth it just to give you the code. Okay, so Gamblin, they're clever clogs, but it's PY74. So I don't know if that's showing up on the camera. Every paint tube has a code on the back. Acrylide yellow is PY74 or PY73, but if you look at a tube of yellow that says CAD yellow hue, it'll and then look at the code on the back. It'll often say PY73, PY74. That'll work. Or just order Gamblin's. Theirs isn't. They're good value paint. I don't use them as much as I used to, but I'm still using the Hansa. So that's what's up. And though the alkoid. Okay, well about the alkoids. Alkoid is coming in the form of the medium. I don't use the alkoid paints because I think that's a bit of a I don't want to say it's a ripoff. People are into it. I have experimented with them. The alkyd or alkoid, I don't have a lot of conversations about this, but it it's your quick drying agent in your medium, and then they add it to the paint. But to me, it's just a marketing gimmick. Oh, we'll get them to buy some quick dry paint because they don't like the fact your paint dries slow. And then some people do say that if you have the alkyd paint and the alkyd medium, then everything's going to be dry quickly. And there was a guy, he was very, God bless him, he's had some health problems, but he ran an art store here in New Zealand. He was American, really an amazing painter, and he was saying that he was doing things that were dry to the touch at the end of the day with alkyd paint and alkyd medium. I don't care about any of that. I just use my alkyd medium, and I have been using alkyd medium since the start. I've always really not like this slow drying of the oil paints, but it's actually I deal with it even now, even with the alkyd. I have a really big fancy painting I did, and it hasn't made it to the channel yet. About 5 days ago now. It's gone completely matte and dull. It wants a coating, you know, but I'm gonna wait, um, until it's so dry, because a lot of times what can happen if you put that. I coat my paintings with liquid, you know. Talk about things that people, whatever. That's in my book. I discuss it there, and I got not a whole chapter about it in the new book, but anyway. Hey, Frank. I know you, Frank. We've talked on the email. I'm writing a new book, and the new book is going to be really an extensive exploration of pretty much any topic pertaining to landscape painting. It's going to be 4 volumes. Now, it might be all in one edition, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm still writing it. I'm on book 3, section 2 right now, and I'm working on it every day. And the genesis behind the book was a lot of my old blog posts. And also, like in the videos, I'm always saying, oh, this and that. And like this video, there's been all kinds of information and tips, right? And all this stuff, everything I've said today is going to be in the new book, and a lot of it is in the old book. The thing is, with the old book, that's in condensed sort of format, and I don't have one here. Yeah, no, I took those inside. But you think of the Kevin McPherson book, or with the landscape painting inside and out. It's like a how-to, and that's what my book I've been selling on the channel is, and that's what it's designed to do. But this book I'm writing is it's designed to just be this giant reservoir of information, just a collection of all the tips and tricks and insights. A lot of it goes into philosophy of painting, it goes into techniques and materials. The last book I'll be writing goes into like dealing with being a fine artist, you know. How much I'm going to charge for this one, I don't know. I'm looking at options. I'm still like I actually did a layout for the first volume, and the approach I was going to take was very much big picture of one of my paintings and a bunch of text. But then I'm looking at if I want to do electronic sort of downloads or anything, which I might do. I don't do that with the current book. Then the quality of the pictures is going to be degraded so massively. So I don't know exactly. I'd be laying it out in a lot of different ways. And the thing is, it's designed to be this giant reservoir of information that eventually I may turn into a website or interactive sort of thing too. So I have a lot of plans. But Frank, I appreciate you. You've been around for a long time. Why aren't you painting, man? Get busy. You know you'll feel better. Just get a board and paint. You know what? You don't even need. You say, "Oh, I don't need to have a tube of yellow. I don't have my yellow." You don't need yellow. You just need white and black. Okay, and just start making some little paintings. You know you've got some references aside. You've been wanting to paint. Just sit down and make some paintings. You know, a great time I think is like after dinner. You had your dinner, done the dishes, just make a painting. And even if it's a bad painting, you'll still feel better about yourself. You will, because if you're an artist, you've got to do the work. I know if I go several days without painting, I just don't feel very good about myself, you know. Not that I'm I'm not like that, but I don't I will be getting in the studio very soon, and you want to build on that too. So if you get that positive reinforcement loop going where you're just doing a little painting. And this is why I recommend don't worry about masterpieces. Here, look at this one. Now, oh, that's on the channel. That's kind of odd painting. You know why I think this painting's odd? Because does does the eye go does the eye go here, or does the eye go over here? I still like it though. I haven't destroyed it. Yeah. But look, I thought I was going for a 5x7. There, that's a 5x7. Nice, hey? This is from 2017. It's all right. The thing is, that's the thing, man. You could do one of these in a day. You could do a black and white one, just like that. And then you have that valuable experience of training your eye, training your hand, getting some painting done, you know? So I think we'll get back into my process. Well, the book, I'm not talking much about the book because well, enough of it's done that I started mentioning it. So it's going to be cool, though. It's going to be really, it's text driven, and so in my mind, I was thinking, yes, I want to fully illustrate it with hundreds of my paintings, but I may actually do it in different versions. I might even do it as an audio book. Mm. It's designed to give you tips and insights. Yeah. Okay. 5x7 is your friend. Okay. These are pine boards here. Oh, you can see I had that up for sale somewhere. Mm. Oh, I do like this little painting. All of these paintings, well, if it really is bad, I get rid of it, as you know. I'm getting back into the process thing. So, got the underpainting done. And then, if you're in the members area, you'll know this already. We get into pre-mixing the colors after the underpainting session's done, and I think it's good. Just have a few lined up, and this is a great way of plugging yourself into the whole painting process. And this is a big part of my principle I've been teaching for years, which is support yourself as an artist, right? Which is what you want to do. 34 minutes. Yeah. Elaine, I know it's getting late for you over there in Europe. I thought this would be, oh, it's like 9 o'clock. I thought it was 9. Oh, I don't know where you are in Europe, actually. Europe's a big place, but this is as early as I could do it. Yeah. New Zealand is pretty hard. Yeah. Ah, yeah. The challenge of mixing the colors you want. Right, Elaine. That's very good. Ah, you're in Denmark. Yes, you're in France. So it's nearly 12 in France. Hey, oh, what part of France? I love France. I would love to maybe live in England because my wife's from there. She has family in there, and she's English. But then be able to go over to France and paint, man, especially Fontainebleau. Oh, I'd love that. Um, I'm glad to hear, Frank, you got a lot from my last book, and I remember you sending me some of your paintings. You got talent, man. You should get busy. Get busy. You want to build a legacy, dude. You want to. And the thing is that if you get busy, oh, are we plugged in? Energy saver. Oh shoot, I'm on battery here. Why is that? Oh no. Well, we're gonna be time limited. Energy savers on. Oh, plugging in a device. I would like to plug in a device. I don't need no nonsense from you. Where's my plug? Oh yeah, it is plugged in. I think that's working now. Yeah, that's working. Cool. Southwest of Paris. Ooh, lovely. Oh, you're so lucky. You must have, talking to you, Elaine, you must have a lot of inspiring stuff to paint there. Yeah, yeah. I love the English countryside. I love the French countryside. And New Zealand's great too, but truth be told, I'd rather be in Europe painting than here. Or East Coast, where Rich is there. Yeah, I would love that. I love those trees they've got there. Yeah. Um, yeah. Oh, so color mixing. Let's talk about that. So, Elaine, if you have a problem with the color mixing, what I recommend is that you strip your palette right down. Okay. You want a yellow, a red, and a blue, white, and black. Now, one place I go different from the other painters out there is I'm telling you to get the black. And the reason for the black is because you'll be able to make the awesome greens. Not so much because I want you painting all your shadows black. That's not really it. But now that's going to be a struggle with that limited palette. So it might be counterintuitive. You're thinking, well, I'm already having trouble mixing my colors, but now these colors don't look as nice as what I want them to. But that's okay because when you make a painting with a limited palette, I'm sure what you'll notice is that you struggle along. It's a lot more work to mix those colors, but the painting will have an inherent harmony in it. Okay, that's a big plus. That's why a lot of painters really love the limited palette. And the most important thing is that you'll learn everything that yellow can do with that red. Now, the red, I have two different things I recommend. It's in the book. Um, I am a big believer in the CAD red and the CAD yellow for a limited palette. The blue, phthalo, if you like ultramarine, fine. The white, titanium white, and then the black, ivory black. But you could swap out that CAD red with alizarin crimson, and that's a perfectly cool palette too. It does different things. Oh, my email. It's right there in the book. Yeah. It's right there in the front of the book. Please do send me pictures of your garden. I might paint them. Yeah, try the limited palette. Struggle along with it, but so limited palette. There's a whole section in the book about that, and then in the new book, I've expanded that out, and then I have a whole video series actually, which I was trying to sell, which I wasn't. I'm just not very good at the marketing, and what are you going to do? But at some point, I might put that in the members area on the channel. I'm wondering what I'm going to do with that. It's still good, but anyway, back to the yellow, red, blue, white, and black. So uh, you've got to struggle and to mix your colors. But when you get them, you go, oh, okay, I don't really understand all the things I can do with that yellow and that black. And then, of course, you're adding tiny amounts of other colors. So one thing I recommend on a limited palette scenario is before you start painting, mix yourself. So you've got the, I'm going to see if I can keep my brain straight. Oh, I'll get myself a pencil pen here. All right, so on one end we got the black, the other end we got the white, then we got the yellow, we got the red, and the blue. Can you see that? Anyway, it's mostly for me. I recommend mixing an approximation of yellow ochre, okay, it's not easy to mix. You gotta do a little bit. You can do mostly some yellow, some white, a tiny amount of red, and maybe you'll adjust it with a little blue or a tiny amount of black. That's one of the harder colors to mix with the limited palette, but I got something there. I'd have that on my palette, a little pile of it. If you don't want to mess with that, I would still have a pile of orange. You can just mix your red and your yellow together to make a nice orange and pop it right in the middle between those other two piles. I would put the yellow ochre in between the your yellow and your white because in a sense yellow ochre is kind of a whitish yellow. You can think of it like that. I know it's more complicated. Then I would mix got the red, we got the white, the yellow, the orange, the red. Next, I would mix a green, okay? And the green you want to mix, it's not as pretty as the Mike's green I talk about in the book. Now, on that limited palette, you can use the Hansa yellow or the acryloid yellow. But I like the CAD yellow, even though it gives you a green, it's a little chalkier. It's so much more flexible that I think for a limited palette scenario, it's best. I would pre-mix a pile of that green as well. And the best way to make a green is with some yellow and black. And you'll see it's so magical. It's awesome. And don't have it too light or too dark, right up in the middle there. And then depending what you're painting, maybe you want another color I would mix would be like a burnt sienna type tone. And what really works well with the palette I just told you is CAD red and black. It makes a really nice burnt sienna. So have these pre-mixed, okay? And that when I'm working with a limited palette, that's what I do. And then maybe purple, or I might mix my own version of a raw umber. That can be very handy. So to get that, I would be mixing some black with the red and maybe bringing in a little white. That's not the easiest to mix, but another color I would definitely mix would be a gray, a middle of the road gray. So with your white and your black, you mix a gray, have those all lined up, and then start your painting. And you're going to find that it's a lot quicker and easier for you. The whole limited palette scenario just clicks right in when you do that. Otherwise, you can still work with just the 3 piles of paint or 5. But what's happening is you're going to be, where's my knife? I got a knife here. You're going to be constantly putting little tiny bits of paint in, which is still good for you. It's very good for you to just experiment. And then after a while, you go, yeah, I'm tired of mixing the yellow ochre all the time. I'm tired of mixing the burnt sienna all the time. Fine, then go ahead and buy yourself a tube or add a tube of those. Those are the first two. I think I've said that in the book as well. That's the extended limited palette. And And then from there, you know, once you have comprehension of those basic colors and how to modify them and change them, then you start looking into, you know, all the other colors, right? You know, the cat orange and the permanent green light and all these others. Yeah. Yeah, but that's some advice for you on the limited palette, and I'm a big believer in them. And in fact, I was so lucky because another thing you might think about is, you know, you can get Kevin McPherson's book used. It was everywhere. It's still in print. He's Mr. Limited Palette guy. He's got a great approach, a great mindset, and I was lucky that that was on the first books that I got into, and it really helped me. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we'll make it an even hour. How about that? And yeah, I know I get a lot of color questions, and the thing is like so much of it is really start with the limited palette, and then just you got to paint a lot. You know, the problem is, and then you got to be okay with what you're doing falling short. And one of the real problems that we have in our culture, in our modern society, is like they didn't really tell us how hard the artists of the past had to work to get their results. What is that? Hmm? Well, I'm interrupting you guys. Yeah, all right. Sorry about that. Um, but so as moderns, they like they've told us like, oh, you know, I just paint stuff and I'm brilliant. And so maybe some people are lucky like that. Some people are, but most of us find out when we start painting that it's quite difficult. Yeah, and just be okay with that. Just make your bad paintings and throw them away. And then you know what? If you let's just say, oh, where's my little painting here? 5 by 7, 5 by 7, one a day. Do one a day. Will it look this? You know, this one's nice. But will it look this nice? No. But when I did this, I had done thousands of paintings already. You know, so do your one painting a day, and honestly, tell me, you know, uh, the 1st of April, for example, you do one painting, and then by April 30th, you have 30 paintings. You know, you know, by painting number 30, you're going to be better. That's just it. Yeah. So all this stuff like, oh, I don't like what I do, and then so all those 30 paintings, some of them are going to be really bad. Just throw them away. Just get yourself some inexpensive boards, make your paintings, and throw the bad ones away. Keep the good ones. That's going to create a positive reinforcement loop for you. That's going to be amazing. Yeah. You got to support yourself as an artist, and that's the way to do it. And like a 5 by 7, it could take me as much as 2 hours, maybe three if it's a real complex subject. It doesn't matter because the painting is a great use of your time. And if you get into this loop where you're making progress and you're building and you're building and you're building, then it's nothing but good. Yeah, you do that with that palette. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it, and hopefully you'll do the lots of paintings. You're surrounded by beauty there. It sounds amazing. You know, I would love. I would. Although you like, you can make paintings of anything, any scenes. It doesn't matter. I was just writing in I was reading a little book bit about failure or whatever, and I encourage like maybe you want to paint something and then you go, oh my god, this is so hard. And I've got one that's like that. I was doing yesterday. It's this giant rock feature out here in New Zealand, hole in the rock. I'm painting it. It's rock, 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 rock. It's so much to work out. And even I feel that feeling of like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this? But then I go, just do what you can do. And if you keep soldiering on, lots of times, like it'll turn out pretty good. You know, and earlier in this video today, I was talking about when I was talking about doing the drawing, don't get all like doing these detailed drawings, just work things out, get them in the right spot, um, and then start painting. And there you can just put down bits of paint, you know, so it's a lot easier than thinking in terms of lines because you can just put down the different bits of paint. Yeah. Another thing I might do if that limited palette scenario is if you know there's going to be a lot of a color you're going to need, like a sky blue. Now, how would I make a sky blue in a limited palette? Well, I would have I would have that phthalo, and I would do my best to mix some version of raw umber, you know, and raw umber is essentially brown, and brown isn't that hard to mix in a limited palette because things always want to go brown because you have all these complementaries that are hitting each other, you know. But the nice thing about having a bit of a raw umber equivalent, you know what, Elaine, my email's in the book. You shoot me an email, and because you were nice enough to show up today and support me by buying a book, I will send you that limited palette video. I'll send you a link to that, and you can watch that. I know that'll be helpful for you. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I better wrap this up. So, so sorry. I'm sorry. This will be on the channel, though. You get to see what Uncle Mike looks like. Here I am. Rich, if you're still there, I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for hanging in there. You know, and I appreciate your support. I appreciate Frank, appreciate you and your support a lot too. And Elaine, you got to keep working, man. Keep going for it. Yeah, and we'll be here next Friday, and hopefully things will go a lot better. Yeah, you guys take care. Signing off until I come back. Rich, you know I love you, man. You're great. You're great. You've been uh, such a great supporter over the years, and a really great painter too. I got to say. I know maybe you don't. Well, it doesn't matter what you think. I think a lot of your paintings are really great, and how much better are you going to be in 5 years, 10 years? Who knows? Anyway, we'll see you soon. Until I come back with another video for your, hopefully for your edification and enjoyment. Do me a favor. Do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family, and fight the power.